to another episode of E&F TV's Bridging the Gap. And today I'm joined by Meenal Sangay, aspiring revenue management professional at the Intercontinental Park Lane. Meenal, how are you this morning?
I am great. I'm doing fine. How are you, Jason?
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant for a Friday. And you're joining me in your elongated lunch break, Intercontinental Park Lane. So I'm really, really grateful for you giving up your sandwich for me. Thank you.
No, that's fine. Happy to help.
Thank you so much for coming onto the show. We chatted a couple of weeks ago, and you were telling me all about your what you do at the moment. You're in a reservations position at the moment, aren't you? I think at Intercontinental. I was really keen to get you on the show and chat through. So obviously you came from Oxford Brookes.
Mhm.
Just chat through, find out a little bit about you. So yeah, take it away. Tell us a little bit about your life so far.
Yes, so I'm from India. I've done my BSc Hospitality from Sapphires College, which is in India. And then I started my baking business. It was a small home baking business, which I started in India during COVID. Many businesses were blooming, so I thought I'll give it a shot. I loved baking. And after that, I wanted to do masters and continue with my studies, but then due to COVID, as soon as COVID hit, I didn't have any other opportunities. And moving to a different country, moving abroad was kind of a thing for me. I wanted to do it since the very beginning. COVID gave a gap to it, but then after COVID, I did apply to universities, and I also know not a lot of people know about this, but I also got a national overseas scholarship from India because I belong to, like, I gave my entrance exam for the scholarship and I had the GDPA, the criterias, all criterias fulfilled. And Oxford Brookes was a great choice for me. It turned out to be a great choice for me because it was under 400 in the QS World Ranking. And Oxford Brookes was a it's a good college for hospitality as well. So I chose Oxford Brookes. I got in. And yes, I plan to move abroad. I plan to come to UK. It, yes, so far the journey has been really nice. While applying, I also opted for my placement here. So I was doing my master's in campus for 1 year, and 1 year I did my placement here. I will complete my placement here in October, on 8th of October, but my contract has already turned permanent in
Brilliant.
the reservations department. So yes, it's been a fun journey. It's been really nice coming to UK and experiencing all this. Yes, that's
Forget about the UK. Let's rewind a little bit. Tell us about the baking in India.
yes. So I usually like to cook in general, but I remember it was one of my friend's birthday, and due to COVID, the shops were closed, and she asked me, "Do you want to bake for me?" So I thought, let's give it a shot. I baked for her. It was a disaster, trust me. It was so bad. But then I thought of trying it. I have this thing. If I can't do it in the first go, I don't let it go. I keep trying. So I kept
Yeah.
trying it, and I kept feeding my family with the worst cakes possible. But then I got good at it, and my friends started liking it. My family friends, my relatives, the people living in my building, my society started loving it. So I thought, yeah, they gave me an idea. Like, people wanted to order cakes from me, and they were like, we will pay you. The shops are closed, and we know you're gonna bake it at home, so it's gonna be safe and it's gonna be hygienic. So that's how I started my baking business, and it went really well for the entire year when I was at home, when everything in the world was shut. I had my business going on. I was making my pocket money. That was the biggest concern that I had. And yes, it was fulfilled. The business went quite well. But then, as soon as the borders opened, I applied for my master's. So I had to shut down the baking business. I still get calls from my old customers, my clients asking for cakes, but then I'm like, sorry, I'm out of India.
Have you tried your hand at baking some British classic cakes then? Yeah, Victoria Sponge
I
and the like.
I did actually. I tried baking here as well. I thought of starting a business, but then it was too much for me, to be honest. Work and I had uni. So now I think I will give it a shot once I'm all settled. And my placement here is also, so I'm used to this schedule now. So I will give it a shot at some point. I'll start a baking business.
Brilliant. I'll expect mine in the post.
Sure.
So it must have been as it is for a lot of international students, a massive thing moving over to the UK from India. How did you integrate? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, it was a big cultural shock for me. I expected UK in a very different, I don't know, I can't explain it, but for me, the idea of UK was very different. I thought it's gonna be a bit of problems in the beginning. But for me, I feel my experience was quite good because I landed in Oxford, which is a student city, and I never felt um that loss of connection or anything because there were a lot of international students, so which connected us as, and I obviously I stayed in a student accommodation. And there were a lot of Indians in the student accommodation. So it was basically a home away from home. But then it was a cultural shock. The food is very different. That
Yeah.
was the biggest cultural shock for me. And uni was very good. The 1 year that I spent in Oxford and I was studying in Oxford Brookes, it felt like home. I had people around. So the 1 year wasn't a much struggle, but then the year that I started doing my placement here and I moved to London, I think this was more difficult for me than the 1 year of uni. And I had to live alone. And it's not quite easy living in a different country, staying alone. It gives a mental toll on your health because you have to
Mm.
go work the entire day, come back home. You have to cook for yourself, you have to clean, and you have no one to talk to. Your parents are at home. You feel a bit homesick. And yes, it was a bit difficult time when I moved to London, but now my colleagues are good. Once you start talking to people, once you are in touch with your friends, the one suggestion that I would like to give to everyone is be connected. Don't stay alone. Don't be quiet. Don't like isolate yourself from everyone. Try to make new friends. Try to be as open as possible. Because the more isolated you make yourself, the more difficult it's going to be for you. Talk to your friends, ask for help. I I personally did. When I first moved to London, I didn't know. It was very busy. Oxford was comparatively very easier for me because it's all students, it's all international students, and you can connect to
Mm.
people there. But London has a very fast life, I would say. It's very busy. No one has time for you. No one will ask you, how are you? How's everything? But yes, if you are connected with your friends, if you make new friends and you have your colleagues, you can talk to them. It gets easier, it gets better. It's gonna be fine. You just have to remember it's gonna be fine. It's never gonna be the same where you started from. it will get easier, it will get better. So yes,
Tell us a
that's
little bit
and
about, sorry, go on.
sorry. Yes, and one more thing, I was the cultural shock was saying please and sorry and thank you to everyone.
We're very well mannered in Britain, without a
Yes,
doubt.
yes, definitely. When I first started in Oxford, literally going to a bus station or getting a cab or entering a bus, it's like thank you and sorry. And I was like, why are we saying this? There was a point where I used to walk. Even if I hit a stone or anything, a tree, I would say sorry to that. Sorry. Then I used to think myself, like, why am I saying sorry to a non-living thing? So it gets
That's
inbuilt in
brilliant.
yourself.
It does, and it's
Yeah.
something that comes up with international students. I had Omoyeni, who I think from Nigeria,
Hmm.
on the show about a year ago, and she was saying that she got the bus every morning, and she used to have to recite in her head a conversation with a bus driver on the way because just it just wasn't
That's
natural
the
to
truth.
her. So it's just like, remember to say please, remember to say thank you because these things, and it is a very British thing. I mean, saying sorry when things
Yes.
are not our fault is a very British thing. From
Yes, that's
from
true.
from what you say, you seem to integrate quite well into Oxford Brookes. What did the university do to facilitate that?
I think the best thing that I did was getting a student accommodation, and it was through
Okay.
Oxford Brookes. So Oxford Brookes provides student accommodation where I think you meet a lot of international students who you can relate with, and that's the best thing, to be honest. Moving to a different new country and getting into the same comfort zone and meeting the same kind of people who you know you can relate with, who you know are gonna feel the same feeling, who you
Mm.
know are going through the same thing. So you can relate with them. And plus Oxford Brookes in the beginning, I think when I first started, we had the 3 bags. I got down to Oxford Brookes. I just entered the induction. I know there were two people already offering me to help with the luggage. They helped me to keep the luggage, and I started with the induction already. And people were so fun. So the induction days in Oxford Brookes, you just meet people, you talk to them, you get so many free gifts and goodies. That was the best. I took so many of them, and I went to the student accommodation. I had a food hamper for me for that day. I think it was a survival kit before you unpack. So it was all taken care of. And Oxford Brookes, the faculty is very sweet. They are so helpful. I I used to go and ask them whenever I had time. I can just email them. They are always there to help. So I think this was one of the best universities I could even ask for. Like, yes, it's one of the best student universities or international student universities you can opt for. The faculty is very helpful. They are very open to conversations, and yes, they support you. They have career counseling. They have visa related questions. They have a whole ISAT team, which is for international students. So if you are worried about your visa, you're not sure what to do with your BRP, how to apply for things. And the induction day, I think it's a fair, uh, educational fair, something. So basically, everything, all the information that you need to do or start with on your first few days as an international student. Everything was provided to us in the very first day, first 2, 3 days. So from the banking accounts to the student accommodation to the bus pass, everything, even all small minor details were taken care of from the university.
I think that's absolutely brilliant. And it's obviously an environment that suited you and that you've flourished
Yes,
within. And initially you said when you moved to Intercontinental Park Lane, it's obviously different, it's a working world. But
yes.
you came through, you did your placement year there. Tell us a little bit about your experience of your placement year.
I think I made a good decision getting my placement here because I was not quite sure about it in the end, because all my friends, they said it's just an extra amount that you'll be spending. You can go to your just apply for your graduate visa. But then my parents, they had a major role in it. They asked me to do the placement here. I did get the support. So the perks of getting the placement here is you get a support from a university, and they do help you with the transition. They keep a check on you. So every once in a month, we had this one-on-one meet or conversation with our faculty, which helped us. Like they used to ask us if there are any difficulties that's going on, or if we need any help with them. I think doing the transition from student life to the work culture in UK, like getting into a full-time work position. For that transition, placement here is really nice because you still have that uni help and support, plus you're getting into the full-time work. So it was really helpful. And then we had a project as well. We had an assignment to find a problem or like a topic in our department and work on that basically for the entire year, give solutions, which helped me to take a stand or a position in my department where I was, what do you call it? I was trying to, I don't know what to say. So I was trying to get into like the depth of the department, trying to
Yeah,
find a reason, a problem in the department,
yeah.
and initiating. Sorry, I got the word now.
It happens to
Initiating.
me all the time.
Initiate, make a initiative in the department and not just come, go work for 9 to 5 hours and just go home. So I
Yeah,
initiated, I found a problem, I tried to give solutions, and my manager was very helpful towards it. She took my advice. She asked me to convey the message or the new ways of working with my entire department, and which made me very confident. I think the placement here, uh, the project that we had, the assignment that we had, makes you more confident working in
yeah,
your working in the organization that you're doing your placement here in. So yes,
yeah.
it helped.
So you felt both supported from by Oxford Brookes and also by your employer during your placement year, the Intercontinental Park Lane.
Yes, yes, they do support. My manager was very helpful, my employer was helpful, and plus the university was there as a support. So when you know there's someone you can talk to or discuss your problems with, and they are going to help you with the issue, or they're going to help you with the problems that you're facing. I think it's, even though you don't need that help, or even though you actually don't need them, but then knowing there's someone who's going to support you
Yeah,
makes half the work easy. Like you're confident.
mm, yeah. And tell us
Yes.
the amazing news that you're celebrating, how your placement year has ended.
Yes, so I was supposed to end my placement here on the 8th of October 2024. And I spoke to my manager. She did offered me a job. So I had an end date on my contract. She offered to make my extend my contract and make it permanent. So yes, it was a happy news. I'm happy about it.
Brilliant.
And
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I would really like to grow in this organization.
And tell us a little bit more about how you hope to grow.
So I started my placement here in the reservations department. I'm working as a reservations agent and I wanted to get into revenue. So I'm just waiting for that opportunity to get into revenue now. As soon as I get that opportunity, I would love to grow in this organization, revenue, and then revenue manager, maybe a cluster manager as well in few years.
Brilliant. So
Mhm.
where did that interest in revenue management come from? Did it grow from being in a reservations position, or is it something that you've always wanted to do?
It actually started when I was doing my internship in India. So when we were doing in India, when you do a bachelor's, you have a 4 months internship that you have to do in your second year. So I was doing my internship in my second year at a five-star property, Sahara Star in India. And luckily, I was only like the lucky one from the entire internship batch that I got into revenue, in the revenue department. So I started working as a reservations agent, and I used to see my revenue manager there in the internship during the internship period, and I used to like fancy her, the way she talks, the way she is handling revenue. And I feel revenue is a very important, I think it's a bag to be safe. It's the backbone of the hotel. Without revenue, the entire organization or hospitality is not going to work. In the end, it's revenue that matters
Yeah.
along with hospitality. So that's when my interest in revenue started in my internship during my internship period, and during my uni, my masters in at Oxford Brookes as well. We had a subject where we had a module where we were given, it was a website we had to, it was a fake hotel, we had to run the hotel, and
A
it was a
simulation.
part, yeah, a simulation. We had to work in the the hotel environment. I always picked to be the revenue manager, and I used to love doing that. Also, after that, after talking to a lot of people, or after talking to my faculty, you might not remember, did spoke to you in 2023 as well regarding getting into revenue. And after getting the actual feedback, like the real life scenarios, I got to know that revenue is not something you can start with as a fresher. You have to be in reservations. So
Hmm.
for me, the first goal was to get into reservations, and luckily, I got the reservations agent position at Intercontinental London Park Lane. And after getting into reservations, I actually worked with Opera and got to know everything about the market, how it works, the OTA reservations. And it was quite fascinating for me. So now I would like to continue in reservations and wait for the opportunity to get into revenue. Somewhere the revenue opportunity pops in, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Have you got a plan in your head as to how you hope to achieve your dream of being a revenue manager and beyond?
I think reservations is a good start to get into revenue. And once you're in reservations, I learned from you that you have to know a lot about Excel. So I've started working on Excel as well. So reservations is a tick, Excel in progress. And once I get into that, I think the first step to go after this is revenue analysis or revenue coordinator. And then once I'm in the system, I can move forward.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, obviously we chatted a month or
Yes.
so ago, and I think in your position as it's a tried and tested career route through reservations into revenue. It doesn't suit everybody, but it's proven in the
Yeah.
past to be a fertile kind of land for revenue managers to grow. But I think there is a lot that you can do within your current position to increase your chances. And we spoke about mastery of
Hmm.
Excel, which is still around and not going away.
Hmm.
Access
Yes.
to Tableau, Power BI, I think is advantageous if you learn that.
Hmm.
And spending some time with on-site revenue manager or in a
Yes.
cluster office, just having some time around revenue managers like you did in India. I think that's all, a good bet for increasing your chances.
Yes, that's correct. And but I think we need to work in hospitality. I think that's a backdrop of us. We do not know if someone wants to get into revenue. We do not have a proper way to it. Like I didn't know where to start from, and for me, reservations was not relevant in the very beginning. So I had that one of the problems was where to start from because I wanted to get into revenue, but then no one will give you a job in revenue without an experience.
Hmm.
So for starters, people without experience or students without an experience in without any past experience, they cannot get into revenue. I think that was one of the major reasons or points that I was struggling with.
Yeah, yeah. I I honestly think, and when we spoke about it, I honestly think that you're
Hmm.
doing the right thing, spending some time in reservations and looking to progress kind of from there, doing in your own time some additional learning. Coming on
Yes.
shows like this also puts
Mhm.
yourself in the shop window as someone that's knowledgeable and intelligent and curious about revenue management,
Yeah.
which is brilliant. And I think you'll do really well because you kind of radiate a certain amount of the work ethic is definitely there with
Mhm.
you 100%, and you've shown
Yes.
adaptability in moving countries, and you've obviously really impressed your current employer to the point where they've rewarded your dedication throughout your placement year with a permanent position. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, shoot for the stars, Meenal.
Thank you so much. Means a lot, Jess. Thanks a lot.
Listen, I better let you go because yeah, you need to grab a sandwich or maybe a cake or something before you get back for your afternoon shift.
Yes.
But thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed learning about your story, and
Thank you.
yeah, I look forward to seeing where you'll end up next.
Yes, thank you so much. I hope to be in touch with you, and I was glad pleasure was all mine to come on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, Meenal. That's all we've got time for this week. Like and share the show because it helps us attract brilliant guests like Meenal. See you next week.
Here we go.